So we're going to be making some energy truffles, as we've called them to be fancy. We've probably seen energy bites, energy balls. There's all kinds of great recipes on the internet. And these are a great way to, again, do some batch preparation, make a really, really healthy recipe. These are something that can be thrown in the freezer. And then you can put them into little bags so that you have a bunch of them, and you can throw them into your purse, keep them in your car, and pack them full of healthy nutrition so that they're high protein, full of calories, but also healthier than what you would get if you were, stopping by a convenience store or getting something from the hospital lobby.
So we're going to use a food processor here. We're going to use whole nuts. You can always do this if you just had like a nut butter. And if you didn't have a food processor, you can just mix it by hand. It's a lot easier that way. But if you have a food processor, definitely use it. So we have 1 cup. We're starting with some cashews, unsalted. You can get the toasted ones if you want. They taste really nice. 1 cup of oats.
And these are your whole rolled oats, so not the instant ones. The instant ones have been processed a little bit.
So we're going to pulse this just until the nuts break down a little bit. As it gets quieter, you know that it's there.
A beautiful thing about this recipe too, you don't like cashews? No problem. Substitute a different nut, substitute a different dried fruit.
Yeah, so we have raisins, golden raisins that we're going to add in here. Again, you can use dates. I think dates are used more often, and we've used dates quite a bit, but raisins are a little more accessible. I think, most people might have raisins around the house, so it's a great way to use them up. So we're going to use 1/2 cup of raisins. One of my favorites, not local, but in season, is mango. And you're going to see some really, really nice, juicy, sweet, incredible mango. You can use frozen ones as well. There's nothing wrong with using frozen. Use it the exact same way. You throw it in here. But if you can get the fresh mango, I got some really nice fresh mangoes yesterday, then definitely use those. If
you get these fresh fruits, or even with the frozen ones, they're picked at the peak of freshness. So in testing this recipe yesterday, Jeremy was saying we didn't need to add much in terms of sweeteners to this recipe because the mangoes are so sweet already. So it's a really great way to sweeten up your recipes, and by using the dried fruit, it's better than adding some sugar to a baked recipe because you're getting some nutrition out of it as well. Our dried fruits are a good source of iron, which is helpful for healthy red blood cells, especially during treatment. We want to make sure we're getting enough iron to keep our energy levels stable.
So yes, so like Christy said, we're not going to add the honey. Have it on there as optional. If your fruit isn't as sweet, then you can add it. Otherwise, you don't need to. We're going to add some lime zest. Again, get a nice punch of flavor there.
Have you ever squeezed a lime on a mango? In terms of flavor, it's the acidity just brings out that beautiful fruit flavor.
Yeah. So lime's juice and the lime zest. We're using the entire fruit. Squeeze that in there. And then that's pretty much it. We're going to blend that up. I usually add a pinch of salt to it. Again, with fruit and anything sweet, it sort of just brings up the flavor a little bit. But again, that's optional. And if you did want to add some more protein, we have an ingredient here that we've used and we showcased a few times, which is called skim milk powder. You can find this at most grocery stores. A lot of bulk stores will have this. And it's a great way to sort of fortify and add a little bit more protein to your recipes. And you can do this in something like this as a dessert or a snack. You can even do this in soups and make a nice creamy soup without it sort of curdling or breaking. So it's a great sort of ingredient that we've used a few times.
That's right. The reason we recommend skim milk powder typically is we don't want to go for a name brand protein powder. It really depends on what you're able to find at your store. You could go for a whey protein powder, a casein protein powder, a vegetarian protein powder, whatever your favorite is. But the skim milk powder in terms of value it's very inexpensive. It's not quite as high in protein as the isolates because they've taken all the starch or all the carbohydrate out of it. But in terms of value, skim milk powder is a good thing to have in your kitchen. All right.
Okay, and then pulse. That's it. So you have this really nice mixture over here, and then you can form that into balls. Either use your hands. These little ice cream scoops, you guys get them.
We also use these a lot.
Really, really cool.
For falafels, little mini sliders.
They're awesome. Yeah.
meatballs, all kinds of recipes. We use our little ice cream scoop.
So we have our little energy balls that we'll scoop on here. Again, put them on parchment and then right into the freezer. Freeze them solid, and then you can transfer them, like I said, with the pasta. Then you can transfer them into a Ziploc bag, and that'll keep for a couple months. And you can, again, like Chrissy said, have them on the go.
If you
can
don't,
roll these.
sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. No.
If you don't have much of an appetite, then going for mini versions of things can really, really help. Sometimes it's way too overwhelming to sit down to a meal when you're not feeling well. So even, you know that you have a nutrition-packed snack, having a few of these, every couple of hours, eating smaller amounts more often is a great way to help boost your energy and get the nutrition you need.
So to finish them, you can even roll them in a couple little options. So we have some like crushed almonds, we have some cocoa powder, we have some coconut, and it gives it a really nice sort of look and nice sort of texture on the outside. And then I'll show you what they look like.
Through the magic of television, we can show you what our final truffles would look like.
So we did one in some crushed cashews and coconut.
Oh my goodness.
And these are fantastic, really delicious, really healthy and nutritious. So that's it. That's our little caregiver snack pack.
Caregiver cooking skills.